Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to show you a CSS trick that I learned recently that I thought might be interesting to you as well. If you possibly remember from one of my previous videos, we've been working on this website, in particular this navigation. And I'm currently facing the challenge that if I make this smaller, this navigation doesn't have enough space. So what I want to do is I want to fall back to a drop-down menu that opens up on this hamburger icon. And what I want to do is that when I click on this, I want this whole thing to open up and animate based on what content is in there, and then basically close up again when I press this button again. But as you possibly all know, changing height to 0 and then to auto doesn't actually animate. But I found a trick or something that I learned recently where I can make this actually happen without having to rely on third-party JavaScript libraries. So let me head over to this Tailwind playground, and I've set this up to basically open and collapse this thing on this checkbox. You can see that I've created this checkbox here, gave it a peer class so that I can change this height to 0 and to auto based on if the checkbox is checked or not. But so you can see I've got transition in here already, but when I click around, there is no transition. So what's the trick? Well, how can I make this work? Basically, the idea is that instead of using height 0 and height auto, I'm going to use the grid layout and set the grid column or grid like row height to 0 fr, and then I change it back to 1 fraction, and that already does the trick. So let me show you. First of all, we need to make this a grid layout, and then from there I will also say grid rows, but instead of like 1, I need to make this explicitly 0 fr. This is basically the counterpart to height 0. And then in here, instead of height auto, I will go ahead and say grid rows, and I have to make it explicitly 1 fr. Now this container is basically only doing the height change basically. And if I try this out, you see the animation works straight away. And to be clear, let me show you what I mean with, if I remove this column and this, actually I can keep this column, but I can remove this justify center, and now it's on the top. And now this, imagine this being my hamburger icon. Now I can basically click on here and this changes in height. And this is exactly what we want, right? Basically, to summarize, this small bit here, grid 0 fr, and then basically making the whole thing 1 fr, makes transition work here. It's a small but useful trick, and I hope you found it as useful as I did. That's enough for today, and I'll see you in the next video.